It seems like we're live. This is my first live session. I gotta admit, I'm pretty nervous. I've been waiting in front of the computer for 5 minutes for this to go live. It's my first Q&A, so I'm very excited about that. I got a couple of questions. I posted out a blog in the community tab of YouTube asking for questions because I knew I don't have so many subscribers and they're all in the US. And I'm in Germany, so the time schedule is pretty off. But let's go right into it. I have a couple of questions and I'm going to go through them. The first one being from my main man, Gus, GainBros. I'm going to put all the questions and the links to the channels down below after I've finished. But this first question is from GainBros. Good day. What's up, Derek? My man, what's up? So GameBro says, looking ripped. Thank you, my brother. How has the 100 push-up a day challenge been feeling? Absolutely perfect. I haven't had a problem with it until now. I did feel very fatigued after running a half marathon on Sunday by -4 degrees Celsius, and then I did the session afterwards. That was pretty hard, not gonna lie. And compared to your last challenge, you're probably talking about the 100 pull-ups, 100 burpees, and 100 squats per day. This is much more sustainable. The 100 pull-ups on the long run, I don't know. Well, let's just make something clear. Gus is someone who does high reps all the time, but I don't. I like low rep sessions, at least when it's not about burpees. So the 100 pull-ups did fatigue me over the 30 days, and I was looking forward to ending that. Whereas with the 100 push-ups, and now I've added 100 squats, I feel this is very manageable. I'm doing every session between 5 and 7 minutes. Until now, I think once only at around 8 minutes after the half marathon, but it's usually less than 10 minutes. And what's your goal aside from life functionality and health? Oh, get those gains. I don't know what my life goals are, I don't know, be a good person, take care of my daughter, be a good family man. But fitness-wise, I just feel I'm getting started. That's what's up. I just feel like I'm getting started. So I approach everything with an empty mind, and I really enjoy that. Thanks, my brother Derek. What challenges can you see yourself giving a go in the future? That's a lot of questions, Gus. Well, you know what? Right down this street where I live, they're building a children's playground. And it seems like they're building a monkey bar playground. So I'm looking forward for them to have an area where I could practice my muscle ups on a bar, because I really suck at them. I can't do them without the knee kip. So I would really like to get the slow muscle up on the bar. I've done it a couple of times, but I would like to get a power muscle up, like the ones you do. Let me tell you, Gus is someone who does 100 muscle ups, 100 burpees, and 100 squats. He has that session online, so go check that out. So yeah, I would like to get the muscle up on the bars, no doubt. So next question, that's from SimonTrageser. You know what? Simon and I call him my friend now. So we met up and we had a session and we exchange. He likes to run. I like to run. We have a big plan for next year. You know what? I'm going to talk about it. There's an ultra marathon and we want to take part in it. And we're both already accepted into this ultra marathon. It's 4 marathons in a row within 30 hours. You have 30 hours to finish. Yeah, I was pretty nervous about that. I've been looking forward to doing this about 5 or 6 years, but only until now have I gathered the courage to go into that ultra marathon. Yeah, so I'm running a lot lately. That's why you ain't seeing those burpee sessions, but I really need to get those push-ups going, and so I'm doing the 100 push-ups, and I'm just accumulating volume. That's the only thing. So here goes Simon's question. In which sense did you notice that your training influenced your daily life positively? You know, when I was a child, I wasn't a very happy child. I didn't have much self-esteem. And then I started doing karate. I did karate, Shitokai and Wadokai, 10 years probably. And I was pretty much very bullied at school. So I was a bit overweight, probably very overweight. And with karate training, that changed, and I had a little bit of more self-awareness, and I made myself get some respect from others. And I do attribute karate to this positive influence in my life, although it had to do with me, you know, creating a little bit of resistance against negative energies. So it did affect me positively, but it was something that came out of the necessity of being somewhat hostile. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Kempo karate. I went to Kempo karate as well. Let me tell you a story about that, Derek. I went to Kempo karate with my brother. We left after 6 months. They made me fight against my brother. And me being very unaware of my capabilities, you know, I beat my brother up, my little brother. So I'm not proud of that in any sense of the word, but I was trying to prove something to the others, and it wasn't a bad beating, but you know, I was technically superior, and yeah. So Kenpo in Guatemala, there's two Olympic competitors, a female and a male. They come from the Kenpo school in Guatemala, and I was in the same place as them, and it was a highly competitive, you know, like testosterone driven gym. And I remember I didn't do well there, so yeah, I got out of it. But yeah, Kempo. So especially with regards to raising your little daughter and be an example, you know, fitness and being a father for me go somewhat hand in hand, because you have a little human being who's developing a full vision of the universe within itself, developing in front of your eyes, and it wants to play. It doesn't just want to learn, it wants to play. So I do perceive myself as someone who's very playful, and I did see fitness as the fundament upon which I could be playful with my daughter in regards to physicality. So I also wanted to raise a daughter who's strong. So we like to fight, and I don't know, we don't do jujitsu, but you know, like we try to do stuff, you know, like, and it's also very playful, but also very physical. And I do enjoy that because I do perceive a lot of lack of physicality in the way we bring up children now. So yeah, I'm happy to be fit at 43. School makes a difference. Yeah, I do work out every day. That was Jason asking. I work out every day. Who are you? Man, you need to find out. So I'm going to finish this question. Muss der Kessel brennen? Natürlich muss der Kessel brennen. Und dafür brauchen wir die Zündkerze, ey. Laufen muss es. That's a little inside German joke between Simon and I. Where do I start? Check out my channel. I like skill practice. I think I like to focus on neutral form in exercises. So I never do things that are outside of the box. I like to do muscle ups, very strict. I like to do burpees, very strict. And all sorts of movements, handstands I used to do a lot, but all within a very neutral range of motion. So nothing fancy in what I do. It's just usually high reps or time under tension or something that is pretty hard to do. And I try to make it easy as far as possible, right? Do you engage in any unproductive activities like video games? No. I am currently trying to detox from bad habits. Have you ever had to detox bad habits? Yeah, well, unproductive activities, of course, I do. And to be honest, I love them. I think they're very, very necessary part in life to have unproductive activities. With that, I don't mean, like destructive activities. So I do like to drink beer, but I don't get drunk. So I live in Germany, so beer here is, like like water. But yeah, I don't go out and party. I always go to sleep between 8:30, 9:30, 10 p.m. dead out, and I sleep usually between 9 and 11 hours every day. So that's very important for me. So that's why I don't go out. So I got a lot of questions. I'm so happy, yo. What's up with this? I'm skinny fat. Oh man, I used to be skinny fat too. And for me, the question being skinny fat was, do I lose the fat or do I gain muscle? Because for me, in the beginning, it was always, I need to lose this fat. So I would eat less and exercise more. And I would only notice, I look even more skinny fat now. And then I started doing a little bit of weights, kettlebells, and my calisthenics. But I did notice that it is much better to fill in the cavities of that loose skin when you're skinny fat with muscles instead of trying to get rid of that fat that you see or that flabbiness. Sometimes you got to fill it up a little bit. And so, yeah, that's a tricky question. That's a really good question. Don't deprive yourself of food. Try to eat good and healthy, and do try to build some muscle. Because if you try to lose weight, that skinny fat look is just going to become more noticeable. Chiba, what's up? In the big screen. 9/11. What is that? I don't know. How many languages do I speak? I speak fluently 3. My mother tongue is Spanish, and I speak equally well English and German. So I went to university here in Germany, and I did literary science and philosophy. I have a master's degree in both of them. So yeah, I speak those 3 fluently. I have a minor in Latin, and I can read French and Portuguese, but I'm not very good at speaking it. I can though. You say you are 43. When did you start training? I was training on and off. So I started playing soccer and baseball at school. And I did a lot of BMX. I did karate, skateboarding. I still try to do skateboarding every now and then. But then I went to university and I stopped, and I did get overweight and I did lose fitness. So then I got into kettlebells, and after that I just got into calisthenics. I did do powerlifting for a while. I think it was 10 months, 11 months, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And my personal record was 425 deadlift, weighing 75 kilos. That's 165 pounds. And I had a triple 405 on the deadlift. Yeah. So Paradox. I gave a shout out to this dude last, I think 2 videos ago. But do check him out. I'm going to put the links down below. He has a radio show. Check out the description down below afterwards. And what are the origins of the surname shawarma? Obviously, with the word also meaning a popular dish, I'm assuming it's Greek or Turkish. Could be wrong though. Yeah, shawarma, Chris, my name is Christian, but everyone calls me Chris. And shawarma is an allusion to Chris Sharma. So I used to be a climber. Competitively 10 years ago, and I did about 6 years of competitive climbing. And then I had an accident where I messed up my knee. So I stopped climbing, at least competitively. I still go out and climb, but obviously not the way I used to. I have some videos of those times here on my YouTube channel. But Chris Shawarma is just an allusion to Chris Sharma. I used to be called Master Plant Eater on YouTube, but I changed that because everyone was assuming I'm just like this obnoxious militant vegan, and I'm not. So I don't tell people what to eat. None of that. I eat vegan since May 2015. So you can eat whatever you want, but that's what I do. And I try to, yeah, I just changed the name. And I didn't know what to call myself because my name is Christian Baumann. And I just think that doesn't match to my image, my real name, actually. Vegetables taste like sad. Absolutely. I used to hate vegetables. I used to love bacon, eggs, meat. I was never a fan of cheese, though. And due to the fact that I used to live like in very political context, I used to live in London, and living in London, I was living in a warehouse squat in Tottenham, and we were like the black bloc of the Antifa. And we used to do like community kitchens and all sorts of action. We used to go dumpstering and pick out food from the dumpsters from Tesco. And back then I wasn't vegan, but with them I would eat vegan. And then I just said to myself, I'm going to eat vegan. And that's what I've been doing so far. And I do really enjoy it. And I'm not going to change in any time soon. I don't like cheese, no. Never did, like, I don't know what's up. But bacon, shit, I smell bacon. I love that, but I won't eat it. I mean, not because I'm ideologically perverse and I want to deprive myself. I just gave myself into this discipline of looking for alternative sources of food and nutrients and whatnot. And I think I'm doing well. I can't complain. It's good food worth dying for. I don't know. No cheese, huh? Don't say that in the Netherlands. Of course. And you know what the funniest thing is? Chiba, when Corona hit, I was out of work because I worked for film festivals and everything. So I was looking for work, and I was selling cheese at the weekend market. I didn't try one of them. I read all sorts of, we had Comté, we had blue cheeses, we had cheese from the UK, we had all sorts of Swiss cheeses, French cheeses. We had really exclusive Goudas and goat cheese Goudas and goat cheese Goudas with honey. And I was saying, you need to try this, you need to try that. Like I said, I'm not an ideological, political vegan. I just do it for myself. And I cook meat for my daughter. So every now and then I'll just buy a big steak of organic meat and I'll cook it for her. So no hate, please, with this regard. The mental discipline. How did you manage to gain that mental discipline? I'm currently struggling with that right now. Yeah, that's a good question. The mental discipline, I guess it just became like something ingrained in the way I trained, because I did notice like the positive effects in my life. So if I'm disciplined, I feel proud of myself. And if I'm undisciplined, I feel bad about myself. And I noticed that depending on the way I'm training, I need to invest very little time in this discipline. So you can check out my channel. I do a lot of muscle ups, but to get to the strict, slow muscle up, I had to practice it. And I noticed that I needed to have a certain level of fitness, a certain weight, certain elements needed to be there for me to be able to do my muscle ups on a daily basis. And I was investing probably 10 minutes of muscle up training every day, but it was very intense. And after that, I would do my normal stuff. I walk 10,000 steps every day and things like these. So, but the mental discipline, it just became something I didn't think about it. I didn't need motivation to be disciplined. I just knew that if I stay disciplined, only good will come. And I had a mantra. So what's his name? Jason, man, I had a mantra that has been along my life ever since I noticed the impact of fitness in my life. And it goes like this: focus on the skill and the rest will follow. So my skill was the muscle up, my skill was the burpee, my skill was running. And if I focus on that, not strictly on the food, not strictly on everything else, but make everything else around it as part of something that attributes to the result of my running, to the result of my muscle ups, to the result of my burpees, then the rest would follow. And with the rest, I mean, the strength, the endurance, the muscles, the low fat percentage in the body. And I still today focus on the skill and the rest will follow. I kid you not, this is like the best sentence I've created for myself ever. What is the greatest book of all time? Oh man, I'll have to think about that one. Oh man, EmrystheCelt. What's up, man? Oh, this dude, you need to check him out. He's over 60, but man, he busts out crazy sessions on a daily basis. Eating healthy is a skill, of course. You go out and there's all sorts of food out there for you to enjoy and rejoice, but you need to be able to say no. And another thing I developed in order to be able to say no is that I fast. So I try to eat 4 to 5 hours a day only. I break my fast at 2 and I stop eating at around 6 or 7. So I'll eat whatever. I just need to feel full at around 6 or 7, and I know I can go to sleep without feeling hungry. That's it. Nothing more. So I'm gonna read another question from the comments. How's Germany in terms of fitness? Are most people fit over there? Not most, but there is a conscious about fitness. Yeah, and there's a lot of sport facilities like right around my house. There's a couple I use as well in gyms and whatnot. How do you see Americans and their fitness? To be honest, like most of my inspirations came from the US. So for me, obviously, that's a very restricted perception of America. But I did saw that like most of the extreme people that I looked up to came from America. But obviously they don't represent the whole of society, and America is a very car-driven nation. So me, for example, I don't have a driving license. I only ride the bike. I only use public service, stuff like that. So that's a big difference between Europe. In Europe, you can get anywhere with public transportation, and that's no problem at all. So yeah, that's a big difference. So I'm curious to ask people from other countries, how do they see us from outside? You know, one thing regarding fitness and the US, you never see that level of obesity. I lived for about 9 months in Florida, and I do remember seeing like extremely overweight people. Sometimes you'll see that here in Germany, but I haven't seen it a lot, to be honest. Who's better, Arnold or Mentzer? Shit. Mentzer, he did those hit training modalities, right? And Arnold is a legend, you know, like he just led by example. Um, I don't know. Both have their merit, but on a general cultural impact level, probably Arnold. So let's go. This is from Vera from VFIT. Like I said, I'm gonna put down the links down below. Vera, oh, I love Vera. My question: have you ever had any training-related injuries? Oh, I knock on wood. To be honest, I haven't had a training related injury. And that goes back to what I said before, that I try to do everything on a very neutral range of motion. So I don't do very exciting stuff except for the muscle up, I guess. The muscle up, it's still strict, but due to the fact that I do it so slow, it does look like something very special. And I had an injury climbing. It wasn't while training. I had a rock over where I had to do a drop knee. And after the drop knee, I had to stand up and I pulled my meniscus. And ever since then, I have an issue with my knee. I have it under control, but it does give me a little bit of problems every now and then. Not running, not with the type of training I do, but with climbing. Yeah, no doubt. So here we go. Oh, Derek, you asked a question. Derek, here we go. What is a memory from childhood that still fills you with joy when you think of? Tell us a little story about it. Oh man. Well, very recently, this Sunday actually, I was running on the track a half marathon, and that's 48 and a half laps. And I was like going back into the times where I was living in my home country. I originally come from Guatemala in Central America. It's in the tropics. It's the, the geography is given for a tropical rainforest. So when I grew up there, I grew up with my grandparents, and they come from a very, very secluded province in the north of Guatemala. And when school was done, we would go up and stay there. And we would catch lizards. We would try to catch snakes. We did catch snakes. Frogs. We would go out to the woods. There was a little, not a river, something smaller than the river. I don't know what you call that in English. And there were crabs. And, you know, we wouldn't have access to radio, to television. Up until today, I don't have a TV, but I do have YouTube, so it does make a big difference. But so I back in the day, I was sometimes very bored there because when we had rain season, it would rain all the time, and then when it would clear up, we would go out. But those times I do remember with a lot of joy, a lot of joy. Osiris, all your work is exciting. Watching from here. Thank you very much, Derek. You know, let me tell you something about Derek. Derek and his channel Osiris. When I started doing burpees, that was during the pandemic. I barely had any followers, and Derek started commenting and saying, good session and whatnot. And we started exchanging, and we used to call our sessions for burpees going to Burpeeville. Do you remember that? Burpeeville. So yeah, we met in Burpeeville and we became friends, we became brothers, and Derek is on a constant grind. So every time I look into my subscription tab on YouTube, Derek's got something on there. And it's either usually, you know, like this mad session in the parking lot with his team, or it's a PB. Yeah. Burpeeville, man. That's what's up. Can't believe it. 30 minutes are gone. I really enjoyed all of these questions. I'm not sure if this is over. Like I said, it's my first time doing a Q&A, doing a live with more than 0 viewers. At one point, I thought I had 6. So I really appreciate everyone here dropping by, asking questions. I saw some new faces, and I really enjoyed talking to Jason and Fahar Samang, which I have never answered this question, which is the greatest book of all time. That's too hard, man. I still have to think about it. Tiva, I love watching your videos. Tiva is another dude. Tiva is like a legend. He does the sickest, maddest, wildest, craziest high rep sessions ever. And then you would think, oh, he's going to disappear for a couple of days. Now he comes the next day and he does another one, obviously. And we're friends over in Garmin. So there's a lot of things you don't see of his training. So he goes out and run as well. He goes out and does his trekking and whatnot. Yeah, Tiva, you're the man. What's up? I'm so jealous that Simon went to see you, but I'm gonna go and see you next year because I know I'm gonna see someone in Utrecht next year. Oh, you have one monster routine coming up? I don't doubt it. Like, what do you mean I have one coming up? Thank you very much, GRS. So, greatest book of all times. I always go back to this book. I recommended this book in a video previously. I was unsure if I should say this one because most of the books I consider like holy in my life are philosophical books. So one is Introduction into Metaphysics of Martin Heidegger, Being and Time for Martin Heidegger, Critique of Pure Reason by Immanuel Kant, and The Science of Logic of Hegel, Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel. But something that is profound and of high impact to one's soul, mind, and perception of things, I would say is Thus Spoke Zarathustra from Friedrich Nietzsche. I love that book. It's just very symbolic. It plays with a lot of religious elements, elements of enlightenment, elements of a nihilistic view on things that nonetheless try to see something new coming about within the background of this nothingness that is inevitable in a society that grows and thrives towards a dimension where history is irrelevant. So the lack of history in our minds, in our culture, which is not selective history, I mean just general history, is something that impoverishes the soul of any society. So thus spoke Zarathustra, I believe is a book. I have read it at least 6, 7 times probably. And I wrote an article about it in my university times. So if you're up to a read like that, I would definitely recommend that one. Yeah. It doesn't beat Aladdin and his magic lamp. Oh, dude, man, you're just trolling me, man. What's up? Well, maybe. I don't know. I don't care. So thank you very much for being here. I didn't expect to have so much fun reading the comments and reading the questions. I mean, it's open for everyone. And Fahar Saman, I didn't mean that negatively. Aladdin and the Magic Lamp probably has. I remember reading it actually when I was probably like 13 or 14 years old, and there's probably a couple of movies about it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't remember if there's anything I took out of it that still impacts me on my life, and I would consider the biggest or best book in the world. So yeah, take care, everyone. Peace out. Enjoy the weekend, and see you next time. Tomorrow is day 109 of 100 daily push-ups. Peace out, Derek. Thank you very much. Let's end this. Here we go. Booyah!